Welcome back to the AI Book Review Hub. I'm thrilled you've joined us. As always, I do the hard work looking across the internet so you don't have to. Today we're diving into a sharp and unsettling domestic thriller, The Stolen Girl by Alex Dahl. Originally published as Playdate, this novel hooks you with a terrifying premise and keeps tightening the screws with every chapter. For simplicity, I'll refer to the novel as Playdate. It starts with every parent's quiet nightmare. Elisa Blix drops off her 7-year-old daughter, Lucia, for her first sleepover at a classmate's house. Normal, right? But when Elisa goes to pick her up the next morning, the house is empty. Not just of people, but of furniture, photos, even evidence that the family ever existed. Lucia is gone. The family who took her? Vanished. No trace. From that moment, the book plunges us into a suspenseful journey that flips between characters, motivations, and gut-punching discoveries. Elisa, our protagonist, is a career-minded, competent flight attendant. She's balancing the guilt and weight of a career with the emotional whirlwind of motherhood, and her panic when Lucia disappears is absolutely gut-wrenching. Her husband, Fred, a lawyer, initially provides support, but cracks begin to form in their marriage as the trauma drags on. The woman who hosted the Playdate, Rebecca, is revealed to be someone far more complex and troubled than she first appeared. What drove her to abduct a child? And what is she running from? Told in alternating viewpoints, the novel lets us see the unraveling from multiple sides. Elisa's fear, Rebecca's desperation. Even third-party characters like nosy journalists or legal advisors make appearances, adding texture to the narrative. And this is where Alex Dahl's talent really shines. She doesn't give us cartoon villains or cookie-cutter heroes. Everyone in this story is complicated, and no one is safe from scrutiny. The setting is just as compelling. Dahl blends the cool, introspective tone of Scandinavian noir with the domestic claustrophobia of a psychological thriller. While The Stolen Girl is primarily set in Norway and the Pyrenees, the emotional landscape is what really anchors it. Places of comfort like homes and schools are recast as sites of dread and disorientation. Even familiar routines, packing a lunchbox, making small talk at school gates, become laced with dread once Lucia goes missing. Stylistically, this is a novel that builds its tension slowly but unrelentingly. Think of it as a slow-burn thriller rather than a race-against-the-clock drama. The pacing is deliberate, designed to draw you into each character's emotional world before pulling the rug out. Dahl doesn't rely on sensationalism. There are no car chases, no gunfights. Instead, the horror comes from how plausible the story feels. It could happen to anyone. And that's what makes it stick. In terms of subgenre, Playdate ticks a few boxes. Domestic thriller, psychological suspense, and Nordic noir. It's perfect for fans of The Girl on the Train, Big Little Lies, or The Couple Next Door. There's a familial realism here that makes the stakes feel achingly real. You're not watching a crime scene from afar. You're sitting in the living room, hearing the parents scream. Let's talk about Alex Dahl herself. Born in Oslo in 1982, Dahl is half Norwegian, half American, and she studied languages and creative writing in both Europe and the US. Before writing thrillers, she published poetry and literary fiction, but it was her 2018 breakout novel, The Boy at the Door, that really launched her into the spotlight. That debut made the Times list of best crime fiction that year and earned her comparisons to the top names in Nordic noir. She's followed that up with a string of dark, character-driven thrillers, including The Heartkeeper, Playdate, now rebranded as The Stolen Girl, Cabin Fever, and her latest, After She'd Gone. What all her books have in common is an emotional punch. These are stories that don't just tangle your nerves, they also prod your heart. On readability? This one's a page-turner. While it doesn't blitz through plot points like a Dan Brown novel, the emotional stakes keep you reading. Reviewers have called it addictive, unnerving, and impossible to put down. And they're right. Dahl's prose is elegant and sharp. No wasted words, no flab. She knows how to pull you in, and she doesn't let go. Now for the audiobook lovers out there, yes, Playdate is available as an audiobook and it's a solid production. It runs just over 12 hours and is performed by a full cast: Charlie Sanderson, Louise Williams, Rebecca Courtney, and Rupert Bush. Each voice covers different perspectives in the book, which helps distinguish the viewpoints and keeps the tension high. Charlie Sanderson in particular brings nuance and vulnerability to Elisa's chapters, making her fear feel even more visceral. If you're unfamiliar with Sanderson, she's a seasoned British narrator who has voiced a wide array of thrillers and dramas. She brings both clarity and emotion, perfect for a book like this that lives and dies by its psychological tension. And here's something to get excited about. Playdate has been adapted for television. Disney Plus commissioned a series under its Freeform label, with a cast led by Denise Gough and Holliday Granger. Released as The Stolen Girl, the show premiered in 2025 as a 5-part miniseries, relocating the setting to the UK but keeping the central mystery intact. Early reactions from fans and critics have been mostly positive, praising its tone and performances. It's a great companion piece if you want to experience the story in a new way. So, what other books should you try if you like this one? If you haven't read The Boy at the Door, that's the obvious next step. It features a similarly unsettling premise. A woman opens her door to a lost child who claims to know her deepest secret. If you enjoy thrillers where the domestic space becomes a battlefield, Dahl has a knack for making you question everything you think is safe. Fans of authors like Lisa Jewell, B.A. Paris, Sherry LaPena, and even Tana French will find a lot to love here. There's that same slow unfolding dread, the kind of story where the truth is doled out like breadcrumbs and the final twist lands like a gut punch. To wrap things up, Playdate is a chilling, character-driven thriller with a deeply human core. It's about parenthood, trauma, identity, and what happens when someone crosses a line they can never uncross. It's suspenseful without being flashy, smart without being pretentious, and emotional without being melodramatic. Alex Dahl continues to carve out her place in the crime thriller landscape, and this novel is a shining example of her talent. Between the gripping plot, the nuanced characters, and the strong adaptation potential, Playdate is a must-read for anyone who loves their thrillers, served ice-cold and emotionally raw. Thanks so much for joining us at the AI Book Review Hub. If you enjoyed this breakdown, give us a like, leave a comment, and subscribe for more in-depth book reviews. Whether it's crime, sci-fi, romance, or dystopian drama, we've got something for every kind of reader. Until next time, happy reading. And remember, I do the hard work looking across the internet, so you don't have to.